Where normally I would at least switch the shirt or even already have taken a personal hygiene related cleaning to make sure that my videos didn't look nearly as off-center than they would with quality content trauma in mind. But to each their own, and even the fact that I still have the same shirt since the last video shouldn't be much of a problem, but I do take care of myself, I do clean myself. I do not have too much of a disregard to the shallow self-Carl Jung style for my quality content trauma as per everything else is concerned. The other thing was like everything I was mentioned in the other videos, like the rape culture stuff, that even the people who don't believe that, whether they do or not. And even just not necessarily knowing how to prove to people whether, because the funny thing with validation is I'm not trying to prove myself to other people. It's just that sometimes they have weird judgments that I take personally anyways, that I'm not trying to. But when they say things like don't be hard on yourself, and I'm the whole part of me not trying to be hard on myself, my conceding in that is to be confident without necessarily taking care of myself, when I should have been confident and self-respectful, even though I didn't believe in respect and responsibility to begin with. All these things combust together, right? Really weird things. Don't worry about the bed, by the way. It always changes like shape and form for some reason. It's kind of fun like that. But for the sake of this video, we're not going to have an obvious topic. We're going to talk about a few things. I'm going to somehow mention my dad and some other stuff. Don't worry, it's not that personal. But like, use him as as an example of when people did favors for me that I didn't believe in philosophically, but they still try to protect me. And then something about how where my shadow work for myself still didn't have concede about against my fun. Sometimes something along the same lines. It's like this is a casual video, very casual video. It doesn't have to be about anything particular, but we have a few themes in mind. So there are a good number of you guys out there. Oh, and also not to mention content, by the way, not just like quality content trauma, but like things like the content opportunities I had with YouTube and things I was able to do over time, and not necessarily like as far as sponsorships or anything like that. Not like that really, but things where I knew I could have done differently things, and I still didn't have to done differently things. But we'll talk about both the content stuff and the shadow work and even the fun and peace stuff. So there are people who have done me favors, and even in recent, done me favors to protect myself, even though I didn't believe in that philosophically speaking. And my dad is one of those people in a safe, impromptu sense. I could explain that better. My real dad was able to protect me in ways I didn't believe in philosophically, but I could still understand why he did those things. And even my real mother did the same thing, but it was like different ways of doing that. I love both my parents, both my real parents. I still try to keep in touch with them. I currently live with the mother, and the father is within reach more than I realize, and so it's a little different with that. Luckily, I still have them both alive right now, even still within understanding of where I am as a person. Whether I believe all the things they say or not, or even the things that they have done in question of my own life story. And even then, I shouldn't be hard on them or myself. That's the thing. So, with my dad in mind, the thing is that philosophically, again, not even just necessarily abstract philosophy, my real dad was able to explain to me that there's a reason people should try to have peace and fun and happiness, even in the stead of progress and work, and even to the chagrin of world don't care about results, right? Because everyone will always be about that world don't care about results, obviously. Turkey greaser in the chicken greaser in the turkey. Get those results extracted, whatever. But like in spite of that aspect of world don't care about results, I think that's probably more than partially why he would want me to have feel on peace and happiness on its own podium and pedestal. Because one of my biggest traumatic issues was feeling like my own father didn't take me seriously enough compared to even my older brother, and that was a lot of its own trauma. It was like, why doesn't he take me seriously enough as I want to be? Like, wanting to be strictly professional and having time as my biggest problem as a kid when it should be the other way around. You're supposed to have time as your biggest problem when you get older, not when you're younger. And when I actually got to the point where I was like, okay, so maybe he did care about my happiness, because he cared about my happiness and peace and fun in a way that I didn't already. And I was supposed to already care about those things when I was a kid anyways. So it was like, stereotypically speaking, maybe even statistically or psychologically, but it was like but I was way too serious when I was younger, and people saw that me as the exact opposite of that anyway. So it was like, not everybody, but it was a different. Like, there's a way to be positive about, oh, probably more than half of people loved me anyways. It wasn't just a dualistic dilemma between half the people hate me, half people love me. There's probably way more people love me than I realized. And I knew even in recent years that I was more popular in school than I remember, and even more well loved. And the chagrin of that between even the unnecessary things, maybe even perhaps negative for the wrong reason. That's why I still see drama as being controversial, because to me, drama either doesn't exist, like maturity doesn't exist, And that can be in its own videos. Like, why does drama not exist? Why does maturity not exist? And why does social justice warrior not exist? Stuff like that. Strawmanning. Why does none of that exist? Or even cancel culture. I could get deeper into some things that I haven't explored yet. But I feel that I personally have explained before somehow, at one point or another, that the reason I didn't prioritize happiness, fun, and peace was because I philosophically, again, did not see that as being important to me. Like, it was not that I never cared about those things, or that they weren't valuable and that they should have been pursued anyways. It's just I personally thought that if I was going to be myself, I had to be true to my intentions even when it comes to sacrificing things I shouldn't sacrifice in the first place. So if I was going to sacrifice peace and happiness, it's not that I didn't care about myself or philosophy for respect and responsibility not existing. And they still exist anyways. And it's like, but why can't you respect yourself anyways, even if you don't believe in the respect? It's like, because I still didn't see it that way in the philosophy and life story being relevant to my own desires and goals. But so we come to this idea that yes, I should have just been happy anyways. I should have just found ways to be peace and loving and fun, in spite of my goals to be strictly professional and value my time very, very early in my life. And I should have been more patient with my father and my mother with that. But that's at least with the peace, the peace. No, there's an analogy I can use. I'm probably use for the title. Acceptance is to change, as peace is to purpose. What does that mean? It literally means be okay where you are because you are where you need to be right now, Janine Ripper style, if you know that quote. But this is the most that's made all video. Well, shit, it goes monetization. But you can also be okay with pursuing what would be the stereotypical ego death of desire and all that pursuit, because ego's not supposed to die. You combine with the divine, they're a little different. But it'll explain later. I tried it before. You do in essence know that even with desire you can still be yourself, and even with desire for yourself you can still change for the better. Those things are combined. That's dualistic, but it's also important too. So we're gonna get into the content. There has been an offer recently for me to have a content manager check my channel to see what happened to it and why it didn't grow as efficiently. This could be a lame excuse. This could also be a way to get into my discomfort zone of being like, oh no, don't look at my channel, you're gonna ruin it, or you're gonna delete my channel or some crap. Like you're gonna do weird shit to it. No, not necessarily. That could be trust trauma. That could be anything. So this is an offer made from another content creator for his content manager to check my channel, and as much as I would like to hopefully someday grow my channel, not even in a legitimate way, but even just in general, whether those are my goals or not, which is a hint already, whether that was my goal or not, I'd like to emphasize that I have, time and time again, I mentioned this before, been already grateful to be doing what I'm passionate about, and still able to get bonus accolades of audience and monetization. And it's like, I still love doing what I was passionate about. I still love psychologically understanding why my life's for myself, Carl Jung self-style, of incorporating the light shining on my shadow, and still knowing how to diagnose myself properly without people saying that that's impossible or hard. But like having, well, worry about that. That it would not have to be impossible to diagnose myself as long as I knew what I was doing in my shadow and light. And the more you shine light in your shadow, the more better your life gets as a direct result. Not literal order, chronologically speaking, but different. And even to the chagrin of my own main issues being things like communication, integrity, and action. Those aren't literally the only problems I have, but they're things I can focus on for some reason. And how truthful I am to myself without needing to lie about many other things. Although I've lied before, right? I've told lies before. I've been dishonest to myself already. Everyone is, to an extent. Everyone has traumas and mistakes and regrets, but how you can incorporate that, the slippy, slimy, static slope of how things seem to operate versus what you really would idealize in a philosophical abstract lens, stylish or whatnot, fashionable or not, discussed anime, manga horror or not, things like that. But the thing with content is that I know where I stand with this. Again, Janine Ripper style. I know I am here where I need to be right now. And in addition to that, I know that I'm doing really good with things that even I understand a little bit more for some reason. That even without growing my channel, legitimately speaking, there are things I'm doing right now that make all the difference right now. And some of you address this in really clever ways, to say at least. Some of you address this really cleverly, if not psychically. And I'm kind of impressed that it happened like this. I'm not going to explain too much about that yet, but that's like one of the only secrets I keep right now. But the thing with having to just be okay with what I was already doing a good job with, and then not worry about anything else that I didn't prioritize anyways. Like, in addition to obvious examples like content, audience, and monetization stuff. But that's how I would have already seen the world compared to anyone else out there. But this was explained pretty well to me already in other sources, that without being specific about that, whether it's in secret or in mystification, but that I was gonna be okay with how I was running my channel beginning with for now, if not for a foreseeable future, but not too late into the future, right? I would eventually grow the channel on my own terms and make the sacrifices necessary, but I'm not gonna force them. I don't force much of anything Alan Watts style. How many more of this philosopher references I make? I don't know. The philosophers. I don't need to grow the channel, content creation wise. I don't need to worry about why I didn't focus on happiness over my purpose. Sorrow self wise. I'm okay where I stand, not only because I need to be where I am right now, Jane Ripper. It's because I genuinely don't have to worry about what could be, what isn't. Maybe All Man in the Sea. Am I gonna keep making more references like that? Enemy. Seppuku. No, I'm not going there anymore. Not that I ever was that suicidal before, but there goes my. Now they're gonna label my video with a suicide hotline labeling. Goddamn. That's a part of the title though, but. This is why I'm careful what I say on live streams, because I can't take that out. Even if I did, I can just edit out, but different. This will just be a casual video. I'm not gonna make a thumbnail for this, but not gonna change the shirt in the middle of it for some reason, like a rotoscope shirt, or something like that. What are they called, like a 3D AI aliasing? Like I'm not gonna do that on my shirt, or even change the color in the video, like editing, whatever. Green screen. At least I'm being more natural myself right now. But one more thing I'll say in this video, by the way. Over time, if I haven't already, I'm not gonna force too much. I will still do this to an extent, obviously, to be best of both worlds. But for some foreseeable time in the going forwards, I won't force too much of what I do with my content to begin with. I'm not gonna force too many of the topics. There's been a movement I was trying to go for, that's a somewhat obvious references and sources, but where I just make casual content of me just doing things without thinking too hard. Not overthinking necessarily, but without thinking too hard about how I make the content and what I do with the content, or even what I do in the videos. Like, you've seen some videos like this. I know I don't want to call some of them by name just yet, but some of the videos I made before where I literally just did nothing but be myself, quote unquote. Nice. But I just did literally nothing in the videos, and I was still being myself in my different abstract philosopher way. Not even an abstract philosopher way particularly, but just being myself anyways. Even being like this while I was still relaxed talking to myself about these topics, was still being me myself. It doesn't mean never have a topic or never work on your content, but it's my own way of doing it. Still seems too relaxed anyways, but that's the point. If I'm not relaxed, I'm not as close to myself in my opinion as I would think anyways. Even if I did anything better with my life or my content in particular, but that's not the point though, really. It's just it's to be myself wherever that actually is. Whatever that really is for me. If being myself means making quality content, you won that lottery. You got videos audience. If being myself means I don't necessarily focus on quality even then, but I still make content I really like and enjoy, I keep using the word chagrin for this. To the chagrin of not making the videos that probably would have grown my audience or features and shit, that would actually have made a difference the way it could have, and I could have just made those sacrifices without worrying about them too much, then fine. You don't win that lottery then. Snap anyways. But being this confusing sometimes, being this deep sometimes, more than sometimes for both of those, is how I seem to be right now, and how I really feel like I'm the person I am. So I don't want to have to cap this at 15 minutes, but for the record, that's how long you make videos for like a non-verified channel anyways, whatever. We'll push from maybe 16, no, we'll do 16 minutes, 20 seconds, if that works. Okay. And I'll accurate that anyways, because I'm really good at laying this up, like even on Twitter, for that matter. How I limit my characters and video to length time stuff, and very awkward moments, and this does look professional. Doesn't matter like that, but yeah. If you didn't make sense of anything I said this whole video, don't worry about it. I'm not like that with myself, but that's not the point. How I see myself, how I don't speak communication, but however how I could be about that. I know where my opportunities lie. I've said this way too many times already in like 3+ videos, but I'm not hard on myself for not looking at I can make people with a life. Like it takes a long time First, there's certain things to reveal how fast progress you make in the first place. Like, you make fast progress regardless whether it takes a long time to realize or not. But I'd be an idiot. I'd be shooting myself in the foot if I said I didn't make any progress in my life to begin with. I'd be absolutely shooting myself in the foot if I said, wow, I'm still in Houston, Texas. And I was supposed to make like a live stream about this too, so I'll make that eventually. But I'm still in Houston, Texas. I don't do much outside the weekdays. Or the weekends I work on my shifts or whatever. I don't really like do much else in my life, really. No. No, hell no. I've done it good. I've done it really good. Like, I would not be this physically, mentally healthy if it wasn't the case. Time and time I'll say this again, we always do more than we realize. And even if I don't make any sense in these 16 minutes, 20 seconds, even if I just talk like psychobabble as if I know what I'm doing, I don't have to know what I'm doing even particularly, but I've always had a reason for what I did, so it was a little different. But incoming in 5 seconds. Just because you don't know what to do next doesn't mean what you're doing right now doesn't have weight to it. I think I did a lot for myself, particularly these 4 links, whatever. There's a lot of weight to what I'm doing, even though it looks like I can learn anything. Like, one of the sketchiest things is for me not to realize that anything I did actually mattered or even existed. And it both existed and mattered. Because to me, I matter and even exist.